This episode is for the parents who have always sensed that their child sees more than they let on. The child who sits quietly at the edge of a group and somehow knows exactly what's been happening between every person in it. The child who gives advice at 9 years old that sounds like it came from someone who's lived 4 decades. The child who comes home from school exhausted in a way that sleep doesn't fully fix, not because they ran around all day, but because they felt everything all day. If that child sounds like your child, you might be raising a projector. And if you are, this is the episode I most needed someone to make for me before I understood what I was looking at. I'm Chris Kadowski. This is the Type Files. Let's talk about your projector child. Projectors make up about 20% of the population. They are not generators. They do not have that consistent, sustainable sacral energy we talked about in the last 2 episodes. They have no motor connected to their throat. They cannot generate and sustain energy the way most of the people around them can. And yet they are among the most profoundly gifted people on the planet. Here's why. The projector's gift is not energy, it's focus, specifically the ability to focus deeply on other people and systems and see into them in a way no other type can. The projector was designed to understand how things work, how people work, how energy moves, how a system could be more efficient, more beautiful, or more aligned. They are here to guide, not to do the work themselves necessarily, to guide the people who do, to see what others can't see and direct the energy of those around them with precision and wisdom. That is an extraordinary gift, but it comes wrapped in a design that the world consistently misreads as a liability. Before we go any further, I need to talk about energy because this is where most parents of projectors are quietly struggling. Your projector child does not have the same energy reserves as their generator classmates. This is not a medical issue. This is not a motivation issue. This is a design issue. The projector's open sacral center means they take in the energy of everyone around them, amplify it, and reflect it back. But they cannot sustain that process indefinitely the way a generator can. They need to discharge that amplified energy. They need genuine rest, not just sleep, solitude, time alone. When a projector child doesn't get that, when they're in school all day, in activities, after school, in a full household all evening, they don't just get tired, they get depleted in a way that compounds day after day until they hit a wall that looks like shut down and all of a sudden they're depressed. This is one of the most important things you can do for your projector child. Protect their alone time, not as punishment, not as introvert accommodation, as energetic maintenance. It is essential to them as food. Every human design type has what's called a not self theme, the emotional state they fall into when they're living out of alignment with their design. For generators, it's frustration. For manifestors, it's anger. For the projector, it's bitterness. And I want to name this carefully because bitterness in a projector child looks very specific. It's the child who starts to believe that they're invisible, that no matter how much they see, how much they know, how much they offer, nobody actually recognizes it. Nobody asks, nobody listens, because here's the core wound of the projector. They can see everything, but they can't make anyone look. The projector's strategy in human design is to wait for the invitation, not to push their wisdom on others, not to volunteer what they see unsolicited, but they need to be asked. Because when the projector speaks into an invitation, their wisdom lands. It's received, and it changes things. When a projector speaks without the invitation, when they offer what they see into a room that didn't ask, it gets ignored. Or worse, it gets resented. And the projector learns slowly to stop offering it all. That is the wound you are trying to prevent. If there is one thing I could tell every parent of a projector child, it's this. Your child needs to be recognized before they can function, not praised, not rewarded, recognized. There's a difference. Praise is eternal. Good job. Well done. You're so smart. Recognition goes deeper. It says, I see what you carry. I see the way that you think. I see what you're capable of, and I'm not going to ask you to be anything less than that. When a projector child is truly recognized, most people who matter the most, parents, teachers, close friends, something in them opens. They become more aware of themselves. The wisdom starts to flow freely, and they start to feel better about themselves. When they're not recognized, when they're overlooked, compared unfavorably to generator children, told to work harder or produce more or keep up, they contract. They hide what they know. They either push too hard trying to earn recognition and burn out, or they give up trying to be like that and become bitter. the oxygen gets sucked out of them. I have to talk about school because the school system is one of the hardest environments for a projector child to navigate, and most parents don't understand why until they have this lens. School is built for generators. It rewards sustained energy output, consistent production, linear progression, and competitive participation. It is an 8-hour a day sacral energy contest. The projector is not equipped to win that contest. They were never designed to. What the projector is equipped to do is analyze, synthesize, observe, guide, understand systems at a deep level. It's rarely being graded. So the projector child often spends most of the school years in modes that they're just not designed for. And all their generator friends are out there killing it, and people like me are underperforming relative to their obvious intelligence. Neither of those is the truth of what they're capable of. The projector child needs at least one adult in their educational environment who understands them, who asks their opinion, who recognizes their insight, who doesn't measure them by generator metrics. If that adult doesn't exist at school, it needs to be at home. So let me paint a picture of what a projector child looks like when their design is honored. They're the 12-year-old who your friends want to be at the dinner table because of the way they see people is disarming and wise. They're the teenager who becomes the person everyone comes to with their problems, not because they're a pushover, but because they genuinely understand. They're the young adult who walks into a room and immediately sees what needs to change and how. And when someone finally asks, the answer is so precise it takes everyone's breath away. The projector who grows up recognized and rested becomes one of the most valuable people in any system they enter. They're the advisor behind the scenes, the strategist who sees 10 moves ahead, the teacher who changes how you see yourself, the therapist who asks the question nobody else thought to ask. They are not here to generate, they are here to elevate everyone around them. And it starts with a parent who saw that early enough to say, I'm not going to measure you by how much energy you have. I'm going to measure you by what you see. So let me make this practical. First, protect their alone time like it's sacred. After school, after social events, after anything that required them to be in other people's energy for an extended time. This is non-negotiable. Second, ask their opinion often. What do you think about this? What do you notice about this situation? How would you handle this? Every time you ask, you are recognizing them. Every time you act on what they say, you are teaching them their wisdom has value. Third, stop comparing their output to generator children. Different design, different metrics. A projector doing 3 deep, meaningful things is not behind a generator doing 10. They're exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And then have them wait for the invitation. They need to wait and listen for their turn to speak. They need to be invited. Fifth, they need the recognition that they need. Look at your projector child in the eyes and say, I see you. I see what you carry, and that is enough. That sentence alone can change the trajectory of their life. Everything I described today is the universal truth of the projector design, but your child's soul print goes further. It takes the exact moment they arrive in the world and translates the specific blueprint that was present at that moment into a 97-page manuscript written directly to them. Their specific authority, their specific profile, the unique way their design expresses through their particular combination of astrology, human design, and soul themes. Because 2 projector children born a day apart can be profoundly different from each other. The type is the beginning of the story. The soul print is the whole story. If you want your projector child to grow up with a book that sees them the way they deserve to be seen, the link is below. In the next episode, we're covering the manifester, the rarest initiating type, the child who acts before asking, who moves before warning, and who has been told to slow down and wait their whole life for reasons their design fundamentally cannot accept. If you have a child who just does things and leaves a wake of either magic or chaos behind them, this episode is going to reframe everything for you. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and remember, this is who your child is. They need to be heard, and they are not behind. They are just built differently. I'll see you in the next one.